Om. Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Om Partaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Graditam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Tunvanti Devyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakrammo Parishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam na vidusura suraganaha Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha Hari. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is talking about the nature of the self, Atma Swarupa, and how that is different from Anatma, the not self. Anatma, the body-mind complex, etc. Pointed out, and we have seen last class, Natvevaham jatu nasam, natvam neme janadipaha, nachaiva napavishyamaha, sarve vayam atah param. That I or you or all these kings were not there in the past, and all of us will not be there in the future. All that is not true. What happens to all of us? Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara praptihi dhirastatra namuyati. Just as the embodied goes through childhood, youth, old age, so too we enter death. That's all. That's what happens. Therefore, the wise do not grieve the death of one body. Since matras varshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukhadukkadaha agama apayino anityaha tan titikshasva. Hey Bharata, the contact of sense organs with the sense objects give rise to all this cold and heat, joy and sorrow. They all have a beginning, they have an end. They are impermanent. Just endure them, put up with them. So Atma is Nitya, eternal. Body is ephemeral. So this is what we have seen so far. Now we continue with verse 14. Yam hi na vyatayante te. Yam hi na vyatayante te. Purusham Purusharshabha. Purusham Purusharshabha. Samadukka Sukham Dhiram. Samadukka Sukham Dhiram. Somrutattvaya Kalpate. Somrutattvaya Kalpate. Yam hi na vyatayante te. Purusham Purusharshabha. Samadukka Sukham Dhiram. Somrutattvaya Kalpate. The ability to endure, that inner strength, is called titiksha. That is very important. That inner strength called the titiksha is very important. A mental ability not to react immediately, not to get irritated, not wanting to punish or take revenge, not wanting to do all that. That is called forbearance. When we do not have that, we get irritated quickly. The irritations become anger, and anger ends up in violence. Ultimately, the lack of endurance only is the cause of all our later problems. We get annoyed for no reason at all. Silliest of things. Patience is fast eroding. You witness that every day when you are waiting for the traffic light to turn green. Lack of patience, cause of irritation. Irritation leads to anger. Anger begets violence, hurting others. Hence, Sri Krishna says titiksha is an important virtue. He further says that without titiksha, even Atma Jnana is not possible. Any deep study requires the right mental makeup. So he says, Sama Dukkha Sukham, he who is the same in pain and pleasure. Calm and tranquil. He alone is fit for this knowledge. He is Dhiraha, the wise. He, man of discrimination. So the wise one knows what to accept and what not to accept. The benefit he derives by having this kind of discrimination, yetena vyatayanti. Yete refers to matraha sparshaha that we saw last verse, the last class, the 13th verse. In short, the changing world, the contact of the sense organs with the sense objects, that everything that's going on in the world does not disturb him. This changing world of body, senses, mind, sense objects, and interactions among them, na vyatayanti, don't bother him. They do not disturb the wise. His mind is not irritated. Why do they not annoy this fellow? He appreciates nice things. Say a blooming of a beautiful, blind eye to those things. In the name of Vedanta, he doesn't stop appreciating those things. And at the same time, he does not complain when the beautiful flower withers away. He accepts the change. Similarly, in any nice situation, he welcomes the arrival, but does not resist the departure. So he is sama, the same. Dukkha, sukha. Sorrow or joy, Same. Favorable, unfavorable doesn't bother him. So such a person enjoys the right mind. He is fit for Vedanta study. Disturbed mind cannot do that. Complaining mind, an irritated mind will not be able to probe into the truth. You want to have a smooth ride on a rough road, you can complain and criticize the local government about the condition of the road. And you may be even be able to get the road fixed. That's one way to do that. Or alternately, especially if the entire country has roads full of potholes. How much can you complain, criticize? Not possible. So alternate is to put some heavy duty shocks in your vehicle. So the nature of the world is that it changes. So you better have a mind that accepts a changing world. Mind will react, but will not be violent. Reactions will be manageable. The intensity of reaction will be less and the duration will be less. A Uttama Purusha's anger, someone who is mature, lasts for a moment. A Madhyama Purusha, a mediocre person, anger lasts, say, for about an hour or so, hour and a half. The lowest one, the Adhama Purusha, his anger may last the whole day. And sometimes we have come across people, the lowest of the lower person, a papi, anger lasts a lifetime. We've seen all this. So titiksha, total freedom from reaction, means the capacity to manage one's emotions. Handle it. Such a mind can quietly study Vedanta. Such a person alone, saha kalpate, qualifies amritatvai, for immortality. He alone is fit to gain Atma Jnana, self-knowledge. He is fit for moksha. Pujya Gurudev calls all the pairs of opposites that we encounter in life as pinpricks of life. That's what they are. They pinch you a bit here, prick you there. Minor nuisances. Just put up with them and move on. And you can attain great results. If you get disturbed by little things, you cannot achieve anything great. Then, नासतो विद्यते भावः नासतो विद्यते भावः नाभावो विद्यते सतः नाभावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः नासतो विद्यते भावः नाभावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः. So Bhagavan had mentioned earlier, Atma is Nitya, eternal. This verse 16 that we are looking at now, it's a very terse verse, very technical verse. One of the deepest verses of the Bhagavad Gita. He says here, Atma is Satya and Anatma is Mithya. Satya, real. Atma is real. And Anatma is Mithya, unreal. Atma has independent existence. And Anatma has only a dependent or borrowed existence. Atma, independent. Anatma, dependent. Let us try to understand this verse, then we will go to the word meaning later. See, every object has its own intrinsic nature, innate nature, its own true nature, and that we call Swarupa. Swarupam. That's its nature. Sometimes the word dharma, what is the dharma of that object? Okay. That meaning for dharma is also there. Keep that in the back of your mind. Swarupa is its real nature, intrinsic nature, true nature, innate nature. That's what it is. And then objects have certain nature also, but that is borrowed from outside. It is not intrinsic, but it is incidental. So the two words are there, intrinsic and incidental. In Sanskrit, we call it swabhavika, that is intrinsic, and agantuka, incidental. Whatever is intrinsic will be there all the time. It will be there all the time. That is intrinsic. That's its very nature. But whatever is incidental will be there only temporarily. So intrinsic nature is permanent and incidental nature is impermanent. I'll give you a simple example. Suppose there is a vessel, okay, and you want some hot water. So what do? Put some water in the vessel, put it on a stove, turn on the stove, gradually the vessel becomes hot. And because of the contact with the vessel, the water becomes hot. And if you put something in the water, okay, say if you want to make some noodles, put some noodles in there, that will become hot. So the noodle is hot, not because its nature is to be hot, because it is in contact with the hot water. The water is hot because it is in contact with the hot vessel. The vessel is hot because it is in contact with the stove, hot fire. Fire is hot because fire is hot. Because it is fire. That's it. Intrinsic property, while the rest, the vessel, water, noodles, enjoy heat only as an incidental property. Their heat is borrowed from the fire. Simple idea. So from this we get some corollaries. Whatever is incidental is borrowed and therefore it is subject to loss also. The noodles are hot as long as it is in contact with hot water. After it is cooked, after you take it out, if you leave it outside, it will get cold. You want to heat it hot, better heat it right away. Otherwise, you got to stick it in the microwave. Heat it again, make it get in contact with fire again, or a heat source. Similarly, water is hot as long as it is in contact with the hot vessel. If you pour it into another container and then set it outside, it will eventually become cold. The vessel is hot as long as it is contact with the fire. So remove the whole heat source, then the vessel, water, noodles, everything will lose its heat, become cold. Fire, on the other hand, will always be hot because heat is its intrinsic nature. So the conclusion is whatever is incidental is subjected to come in and go in, whereas what is intrinsic is not subject to arrival and departure. Take anything that is perishable in this world, anything impermanent. So such a thing, an impermanent thing, enjoys existence for some time. Whatever exists for a limited period of time, we call it impermanent. This body, impermanent. Because between the date of birth and date of death, the body exists. Before the date of birth, body did not exist. After the day of death, so from this we can easily say every impermanent thing enjoys existence for some time. And hence the existence of things that are impermanent is only an incidental property of that thing. So all impermanent things do not have existence as their intrinsic nature. The existence of impermanent things is only a borrowed existence. It's there for some time. That is called mithya, unreal or illusion. Therefore, the definition of mithya, something that is unreal, is anything which does not enjoy existence as its intrinsic nature. It enjoys its existence only as an incidental property, and that is due to its borrowing that existence. Whatever is permanent enjoys its existence as its very nature. Innate, intrinsic, does not borrow its existence. And that is defined as Satya, reality. A Satya Vastu is a thing with intrinsic existence, and Mithya is a thing with borrowed existence. I'll give you another example to illustrate this idea. There's a lump of clay. This lump of clay is taken and is made into a pot. Until then, if somebody asks whether there is a pot or not, you have to say there is no pot. After the clay was made into a pot, we will say there is. And then imagine that the pot is broken. When that happens, the pot ceases to exist. So the pot enjoyed temporary existence between the time it was made and the time it was broken. So its existence is temporary, borrowed. Pot enjoyed only a borrowed existence. Its existence was borrowed from clay. Clay alone lends its existence to the pot. On the other hand, clay enjoys its existence before the pot was made. And then it enjoys its existence in the pot also. When the pot is there, you touch the top of the pot. Is clay there or not? Is there. Touch the bottom. Clay is there. Touch the right side. Clay is there. Touch the left side. Clay is there. And then, as you are doing all this, that pot falls on the ground and it breaks. Pot is gone. Clay still is there. So the clay has intrinsic existence. Clay is permanent. Clay is satya, real. Pot is mithya in this example. In the same way, Atma is satya, Anatma is mithya. So with this background, let's look at the verse. Asataha bhavaha na vidyate. Bhavaha means intrinsic existence, own existence, independent existence, natural existence. Na vidyate, it is not there. For what? Asataha. Asataha, for asat, for something that is unreal. There is no intrinsic existence. For a mithya vastu, an impermanent thing, intrinsic existence is not there. In the example that I gave you, the impermanent thing is the part. So the part does not have intrinsic existence. And then the flip side of the statement is sataha abhavaha na vidyate. Abhavaha, non-existence. Non-existence is not there, na vidyate. For what? Sataha, for the real. For the real vastu, non-existence is not there. A satya vastu, a real thing, a permanent thing, has intrinsic existence. Natural, very natural. Doesn't have to borrow it from anything else. Clay in this example has intrinsic existence. Even when the pot is broken, clay continues to be there. So a real thing does not have non-existence. And an unreal thing does not have natural existence. Any existence of an unreal thing is only temporary, artificial. It's borrowed existence. Therefore, tattvadarshibhihi drashtaha. Darshibhihi means by the seers, the wise people. They have drashtaha. They've understood, they've realized, clearly grasped this fact. They have ascertained this fact, doubtlessly. They don't have any doubts about it. They have clearly understood antaha, the true nature of anayoho, ubhayoho, both of them, namely the satya of the real and the mithya. They have understood the nature of Atma and the nature of Anatma. Therefore, such a person knows how to live in this world of Mithya. Just as the one who has understood the nature of clay and the pot knows how to handle the pot. He knows fully well that it will break any moment. It's fragile, so he handles it with care. And with all that care, when it does break eventually, he does not get disturbed. Just as that part is fragile, our body and more so the mind, both of them very delicate. The wise know how to handle the body and the mind. They understand the body and the mind are anatma. And when they undergo changes, they don't complain. Just as my mind changes, other people's mind also changes. How many times we hear, I changed my mind. I was counting on you. I know, but I changed my mind. Someone may have loved you in the past, but now no more. The one who has understood all that is wise. So Bhagavan said that from the standpoint of the eternal and the ephemeral, there is no reason for grieving. Then if someone were to say, hunger, thirst, heat, cold, happiness, sadness, honor, dishonor, they all cause sorrow, cause delusion, confusion. He said, I know all this happened. Endure them, bear with them, grin and bear it. Don't complain. Take it all in stride without crying and weeping. Then you will be ready to get this highest knowledge. Further, at a higher level, subtle level, if you look into the nature of sorrow, you will find none of them really exist. Only thing that exists is a sat vastu. Using the method of inquiry, Ramana Maharshi said, inquiring into who is happy. Who is unhappy? It'll all boil down to a thought. The ego. If you further dig in, even that ego will fall. In this way, only Sat Vastu will remain. Everything else comes and goes. Pain comes and will go. Don't give any reality to it. Then your sorrow will go away. Continuing verse 17. अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततम् येन सर्वमिदं ततम् विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति अविनाशि तु येन सर्वमिदं ततम् विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति. One part of this verse is a repetition that Atma is Nitya, eternal. But Bhagavan presents that in a different language. Instead of just saying it is eternal, he says it is indestructible. You cannot destroy it. Tad avinashi. Vinashi means something that is perishable, destructible. So avinashi means indestructible. The essence of the clay part, the Atma of the part is clay. The part is Anatma. Clay is Atma. When you drop the part on a hard floor, the part will get destroyed. But the clay will not be destroyed. Clay continues. Similarly, here also, the Anatma can be and will be destroyed. But Atma, indestructible. Therefore, Arjuna, with thee, you understand. Please understand this very clearly. So the second line, Kaschit vinasham kartum na arhati. Nobody can destroy this Atma. An atom bomb, a nuclear bomb, even God cannot destroy. Nobody can destroy the Atma. Then why are you crying? Bhishma will be killed, Drona will be killed. Bhishma is Atma, Drona is Atma. You cannot destroy Atma. Why are you crying? Till this is the repetition. Then Bhagavan adds another true nature of the Atma. Yena sarvamidam tatam. This whole creation, Atma. Not only is the Atma eternal, it is all pervading. Like space, Atma is all pervading. If Atma is all pervading, how many Atmas will be there? Only one. Just as one space is there, only one Atma is there in you, in me, in an ant, in a plant, and even in God. Bodies are many, but Atma is one. Anatmas are countless. Atma is one. That's why we say the Lord is there in everybody's heart. Lord is there in everybody's heart as the very Atma. Hence, Atma is Nitya, Satya, and Sarvagataha. Sarvagataha, all pervading. Nitya, Satya, Sarvagataha. Eternal, real, and all pervading. So Sri Krishna says, "Oh Arjuna, understand that everything is pervaded by that Atma." And the beauty is that when a thing becomes more and more pervasive, it loses its form and shape. An all-pervading entity has to be formless. Anything limited is limited because of its boundaries only. The form of a thing, the limitation of a thing, is determined by its spatial boundaries. What is the shape of the room you're sitting in? Maybe a rectangle or some odd shape also possible. All that is determined by the wall boundaries. So the shape depends on the walls. If the boundary walls are not there, what will be the shape of that space? It will not have any shape. It will be shapeless. So Bhagavan says Atma is all pervading, so it is formless. This is important to know because people always say, show me that Atma, then I will accept it exists. Fact is, Atma cannot be seen because it is formless. We are able to see the body because it has a form. You are a tall. Whatever, however tall you are. Beyond that, your body is not there. It has a form. The formless cannot be perceived by the senses. Not because it is not existent, but because it is all pervasive, doesn't have a form. How do you know there is space? You don't see space. Any limited space you can see only because of its limiting boundaries. Without seeing space, you all accept the existence of space. Similarly, the existence of Atma is to be accepted. What will happen to Atma when the body is destroyed? Just think. What happens to the room space when the walls that make up the hall or the room is destroyed? Space is not destroyed. Space continues to exist when you knock off the walls. Only thing is that particular room or the hall will not be there. Supposing it's a lecture hall. Then it cannot be used for a meeting. That's all. Similarly, when the body is there, Atma is useful for transaction. This body is kicking and alive. So I can talk, you all can hear. It's useful. When the body is gone, Atma will continue. It will continue to be there. But it will not be available for transaction. That's all. So the Lord says, Asya vinasham kartum na arhati. Nobody can destroy the Atma. The body can be destroyed, but not the Atma. And anything can be destroyed only in two ways. Either by itself or something else causes the destruction. An object may undergo change and in course of time wither away. All perishable items are destroyed by themselves as time goes by. Since Atma does not undergo any change, it cannot be self-destroyed. Why? Avayavatvat. It does not have any part. It's not a structure with different limbs. When it is formless, if it has anything that has parts, limbs, components, can undergo physical, sometimes chemical changes, and get destroyed. This idea can be applied to many things. Even medicines made up of chemicals. And the component chemicals undergo reaction and eventually change the medicine and its potency. A rich man can cease to be a rich man when his wealth disappears. In the case of Atma, neither of this is possible. It does not get destroyed by itself, being partless. nor is there any other entity which can destroy. So Atma is indestructible. Continuing. Verse 18. Antavanta ime dehaha. Antavanta ime dehaha. Nityasyokta sharirinaha. Nityasyokta sharirinaha. Anashino prameyasya. Anashino prameyasya. Tasmad yudhyasva bharata. Tasmad yudhyasva bharata. Antavanta ime dehaha. Nityasyokta sharirinaha. Anashino prameyasya. Tasmad yudhyasva bharata. So Bhagavan repeats the main idea given before. Nityasya sharirinaha anashinaha. Atma is nitya, eternal, therefore it is indestructible. It is sharirinaha, intimately associated with the body. Shariri means embodied, that which is within the body. Therefore, Atma is shariri. And you must understand this properly. Because just now you said Atma is all pervading. Here, within the body should be understood as within the body also. Just as space is all pervading, and that space is within the room also. Outside the room also it is there. Space is within, and then it will be called room space. And it is outside. Similarly, Atma is within the body, and then it is called Shariri. What is the nature of Anatma? Ime dehaha antavantaha. These bodies have an end, perishable. Anatma antaha means end, death. Antavantaha means they have death, they are endowed with death. Bodies are mortal. As Atma, I am immortal. As the body, I am mortal. The wisest thing is to accept Atma as it is and to accept the body as it is. Never complain about the mortality of the body. Gracefully accept its nature as such. Regardless of throne, the bodies cannot be maintained eternally. Even when Bhagavan takes avatara, comes down to this earth, has a date of birth and date of death. We don't call it birth and death. We say avatara and swarga arohana, etc. You may change the word. The fact is the body is mortal. Arjuna, why can't you accept this simple fact? Another important point is added in this verse, that is aprameya, very important nature. Prameya means object of knowledge. So aprameya means never an object of knowledge. Therefore, you can never know Atma as an object. You may get a doubt. If Atma, maybe it is non-existent. No. If it is existence, I should be able to know. No, you cannot know as an object. You can know, but not as an object. Just like the photographer in days prior to selfies. Or the camera. We can say camera will never be in the picture that is taken. Atma cannot be known as the object because the very subject. The eyes can see everything, but the eye cannot see the eye. Existence of the camera because the picture is the proof. No proof needed for the eye because it's because of the eye you're seeing everything. Similarly, the fact that the creation is thus proof positive for the existence of Atma. So Atma is called aprameya. It's never the experiencer. And ever, never, it is ever the experiencer, never the experienced. Ever the subject, never the object. So what? Tasmat yudhyasva bharata. Therefore, fight. And this conclusion has to be understood properly. You fight not because the bodies are perishable and Atma is imperishable. You don't take it out of context. It has to be taken in the context of the Mahabharata. It's not that bodies are perishable, and so just shoot. No. Shankaracharya says it is not an injunction, it's not an order, it's not a commandment. What is meant is whatever your duty is, whatever circumstances have brought, you do that. Don't give up your duties. Overpowered by grief that I will kill the action, your duty. Fighting this war is kartavya, your duty at this time. Give up the delusion. So Bharata, Arjuna, go fight. You're not killing Bhishma or Drona, not killing anyone. The Atma is not an object of destruction. So this is not a commandment or call to arms, but it is an approval for an action that has to be taken. Very important to know the prayojana of Gita. Gita's main theme is not to ask you to fight or perform any particular action. Actions we are doing anyway. Our problem is what actions to perform and what not to. What actions to perform and how to do it. Sometimes we get confused. Guidance is needed to remove the confusion and delusion. So the main purpose of Gita of the Shastra is to remove ignorance. Once ignorance is removed, then you know what to do. Gita Shastra is meant for the removal of shoka and moha, to remove the very cause of samsara. The root cause is avidya, ignorance. That's what we are trying to remove. Avidya nivritti is the purpose of Gita. It's not meant to engage you in any action. The least of it is to fight a battle and kill people. So Atma is Nitya, Satya, Sarvagata, Aprameya, eternal, real, all-pervading, and never an object of knowledge. Ever the subject. And most importantly, it is you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.